Level 1. The guest. It's 9:47 at night and you're crying in front of a castle. You're 26 years old. You work in insurance claims. You drive a 2011 Honda with 143,000 miles on it. You have $1,912 in your checking account, and right now, you're standing in a crowd of 20,000 strangers in Central Florida with tears running down your face because of fireworks. You didn't want to come. That's the part you'll think about later. This was Emma's trip. Her sister got married in Tampa. The hotel was already paid for, and she looked at you across the kitchen table and said one day, just one day, please. You said yes the way you say yes to things you plan to endure. You did the math on the drive-in because that's who you are. $164 for one ticket, $7 for a pineapple soft serve she made you try, $6.50 for a churro. You kept a running total in your head all day like a meter in a cab. By noon, the total is $278, and you are hot, annoyed, and standing in a 70-minute line for a ride that lasts 90 seconds. You text your brother, "This place is a machine for separating adults from money." You're right. You will never be more right about this place than you are today. Hold on to that thought. You won't get to keep it. In the gift shop, Emma holds up a $28 t-shirt with the castle on it. You shake your head. $28 for a t-shirt. You put it back on the rack yourself. Remember this moment. It's the last time you ever do that. Because at 9:45, every light on the street goes down at once, and 20,000 people go quiet at the same time, and the music starts, and something happens to you that you will spend the next decade trying to buy again. The sky opens up over the castle, and for 11 minutes you don't think about the claims queue. You don't think about your boss. You don't think about rent, or the Honda's transmission, or the fact that you're 26 and can't name one thing in your life that excites you. For 11 minutes, nothing hurts. Emma looks over and your face is wet, and you laugh at yourself, and you don't stop watching. You'll tell people it was the fireworks. It wasn't. It was the absence. 11 minutes where your whole life left you alone. On the flight home, you open your phone and type a question into the search bar. How much is an annual pass? The math starts again. This time, it never stops. Level 2. The pass holder. The passes cost $1,449 each, plus tax. You buy 2. Emma does the math out loud at the kitchen table because someone has to. That's over $3,000, she says. You answer with the sentence every person at this level learns to say, if we go 3 times, it pays for itself. Nobody goes 3 times. You go 11. You live 4.5 hours away, so you learn to leave at 4 a.m. and be at the gates before they open. You learn what rope drop means. You learn the app, the refresh trick, which bathroom never has a line, which cart gets the fresh popcorn. You start speaking in acronyms. Emma laughs at you, but she learns them too. The first rule of this world reveals itself fast. The ticket is not the product. The ticket is the door fee. The product is everything on the other side of the door, and the product is priced for people who have stopped counting. You meet Dale on a bench near the coffee shop at 7:40 in the morning because he's sitting where you wanted to sit. He's 63, retired mail carrier. He's wearing a t-shirt from a festival that ended before you were born, and a lanyard with 60 trading pins on it. He watches you frantically refreshing your phone and says, "First year?" You ask how he can tell. "You're still running," he says. "Give it a season." The park doesn't go anywhere. Dale comes 200 days a year. Dale knows the name of every person who works this street and asks about their lives like the answers matter, because to him they do. His wife died 6 years ago. They came here every anniversary for 31 years, and now he comes alone. And when you finally ask him why, he tells you the truth like it costs him nothing. Everybody here is running from something. I just picked the prettiest place to do it. You laugh when he says it. You will think about that sentence for the rest of your life. By December, you've been 11 times. You've started tracking cost per visit in a spreadsheet. It's down to $141 and falling, and every visit makes the number better, which means every visit is technically saving you money. You've started measuring your happiness in cost per visit. That should worry you. It doesn't. Level 3. The collector. You propose to her in front of the castle at 8:15 on a Tuesday in October because a photographer you found online charges $350 and knows the exact spot where the crowd thins. She says yes. Strangers applaud. A woman in mouse ears cries harder than Emma does. It is, and this is the dangerous part, one of the best moments of your life. The place owns a piece of your real story now. That's how it grafts itself onto you, not with rides, with your actual memories. 3 months later, your company posts an opening in the Orlando office. Same job, same pay, $53,000 a year. You build Emma a spreadsheet. Rent is 22% cheaper. No state income tax. Her sister is 90 minutes away. The spreadsheet is real. The reason is not. That's the first lie of this level. And you don't even say it out loud. You just let a spreadsheet say it for you. Now you live 10 minutes from the gates. The park stops being a trip and becomes a Tuesday. You go after work the way other men go to the gym. And this is where the money finds its second gear. Because when access is unlimited, the only way to feel progress is to own things. The $28 t-shirt you once put back, you now own a $79.99 Spirit jersey. Then 4 of them. Then the $85 backpack. The $35 ears in 6 colorways. Trading pins at $18 each that you buy in lots. You wait 3.5 hours in the sun for a popcorn bucket shaped like a dragon, and it costs $25. And when a stranger in line offers you $150 for it, before you even reach the register, you say no. Remember that stranger. He understood something you don't yet. The spare room stops being an office. The shelves go up. The glass cases. You call it the collection. Emma calls it the room, with a small pause before the word. You open the branded credit card because it earns points toward the thing that is quietly bankrupting you. The balance is $4,300 by summer, $11,600 by the next one. You start opening packages in the car before you come inside. You peel prices off. Everything, when she asks, was on sale. Small lies. Storage unit lies. They stack. You start an Instagram account for the parks. Strangers begin calling you by a nickname. Cast members recognize you. And somewhere in this year, the words quietly change order. You used to be a guy who likes Disney. Now you're a Disney guy who used to be other things. Level 4. The member. It starts with free ice cream, a kiosk, a smiling man named Kevin, a lounge with air conditioning and leather chairs, and a question that isn't a question. You guys ever thought about actually owning a piece of this? The tour is at a resort where the lobby smells like vanilla because they engineer it to smell like vanilla. Kevin walks you past pools and balconies and then sits you at a table and shows you a number, what you've spent on hotels in 3 years. He's not wrong. That's what makes him dangerous. You're going to spend the money anyway, Kevin says. The only question is whether you get something back. You work in insurance. You know exactly what a timeshare is. You know the resale market, the maintenance dues, the interest rates. You know better. Here's the thing about knowing better. At this level, it's not a defense anymore. It's a dare. You sign for 150 points at $217 a point, $32,550. You put $3,300 down and finance the rest at 10.99% for 10 years. $405 a month for the loan, $109 a month in dues, rising forever. The down payment comes out of the wedding fund. Temporarily, you tell yourself, there's $9,000 in there. She'll never need to know the timing. Kevin shakes your hand and says 2 words, welcome home. And God help you. It works. Something in your chest unlocks like a door. 30 seconds of the fireworks feeling. On demand. For only $32,000. Florida law gives you 10 days to cancel a contract like this. No questions asked. Emma finds the paperwork on day 12. The fight isn't loud. That's what you'll remember. She sits down across from you at the same kitchen table where this all started and asks one question, very quietly. Which did you pick? Because you did pick. 3 weeks later, the apartment is half empty. The ring is on the kitchen counter, centered, deliberate, sitting on top of your pinboard next to a pair of ears you bought her that she never once wore. You go to the park that night. Of course you do. The park doesn't ask questions. The park is contractually obligated to be glad you're here. The fireworks go off at 9:15 because they go off at 9:15 whether anyone loves you or not. You stand in your spot and wait for the 11 minutes. They don't come. You hear the show. You don't feel the absence. You buy another Spirit jersey on the way out because your hands need something to hold. Run the ledger because you no longer do. $19,400 across 4 credit cards. $29,200 left on the timeshare loan. $2,340 a month flowing to a company that files you under guest against a salary of $53,000. You process claims about drowning people every single day. You just never checked your own depth. Level 5. The sell-off. The bottom has an exact price. Yours is $6.50. A churro cart, a Tuesday, 4 people behind you, and the small flat sound of a card declining. Then the second card. The girl at the register is maybe 20, and she is so kind about it, so practiced, happens all the time. And the kindness is the worst part, because it means you are a type. There is a category of grown man whose card dies at the churro cart, and you are in it. Total damage if anyone's counting, and the collections agencies are $52,400, not including the 8 years left on the timeshare. 2 of the collectors call so often you know their area codes by heart. You know all the scripts. You used to be on the other end of calls like these. And then Dale isn't on his bench. Not that week, not the next. You ask the coffee shop crew. You find out the way this community finds out everything. A post in a group, 800 comments, a candle emoji repeating forever. His heart in his sleep, at home in Kissimmee, 64 years old. The funeral has 14 people in it. His daughter flies in from Denver and gives a eulogy about a mail route, a church, a man who loved his late wife. It's a good speech. It's about a man you never met. 200 days a year, 31 anniversaries, 60 pins on a lanyard, the prettiest place to run. None of it makes the speech. The man had 2 lives, and the bigger one didn't get mentioned. 3 weeks later, there's an estate sale. A garage in Kissimmee, folding tables, and a paper sign taped to 4 shoe boxes of trading pins. Everything $1. You pick up a pin and your hands go cold. You know this pin. They made 300 of them 22 years ago. It's worth $480 on a bad day. It's in a shoebox marked $1, priced by a daughter who just wants her father's garage back. You tell her. You actually do. You say some of these are worth real money. She looks straight through you and says, "We just want it gone." You pay $340 for 4 shoeboxes and a plastic tote, and you drive home doing 11 under the limit with roughly $19,000 riding in your passenger seat and a feeling in your stomach you decide not to name. That night, you stand in the doorway of the spare room and look at 4 years of your life on shelves. For 4 years, you looked at this room and saw a collection. Tonight, for the first time, you see inventory. You photograph the sealed duplicate of the dragon bucket, the one you waited 3.5 hours for, the one the stranger offered $150 for. You paid $25. You list it for $210. It sells in 41 minutes. You sit on the floor of the Disney room and stare at your phone, and something enormous and very quiet rearranges itself in your head. You have been the buyer your entire adult life. You never once asked whether the counter had another side. It does. The other side is where the money is. Level 6. The reseller. You still show up at rope drop. You just don't run to the rides anymore. You run to the stores. This is the level where the park changes costume. The castle becomes scenery. What you see now is a distribution center with fireworks, release calendars, stockroom patterns, buy limits, margins. You keep a spreadsheet of every drop for 18 months. You know which register lines move fastest, which store gets the pallet first, which morning of the week they restock. The rules of this economy are unwritten, so you learn them the expensive way. A limit of 2 per guest is a limit per line, per store, per entrance, per friend who owes you a favor. You never show your face on a big drop day twice in the same shirt. You stand there with 2 phones, one for the queue, one for the sold listings, and you become the exact man you used to glare at. The math is beautiful and a little bit shameful. A $32 bucket sells for $240 within the hour. The platform takes 13%. Shipping eats $12. You clear $160 per unit, and on a good morning, you clear 6 units before 10 a.m. First full month, $1,940 profit. Month 8, $6,700. You open a business account. You start taking personal shopping clients. People 3 states away messaging you at midnight, begging, and you charge 30% and they pay it gladly and thank you. Some of them, you notice, are the same people who post that resellers are parasites, that people like you are the reason this place is broken. You read the word parasite about yourself on a Tuesday, and you want to argue, and you don't. You check your sales instead. You're not the reason it sells out, you tell yourself. You're just the reason it costs more. You can live with that. That's the real discovery of this level. The list of things you can live with keeps getting longer. The debt dies in 19 months. All of it, $52,400 gone. And the day the last card hits zero, you're standing in a queue when the confirmation comes through. A queue for a store. You don't even smile. You're watching the pallet. Even the timeshare turns. You stop using the points and start renting them out at $22 a piece. And the contract that nearly drowned you now covers its own loan and clears $1,400 a year on top. You didn't escape the trap. You learn to charge admission to it. One thing is genuinely gone, though, and you notice it once a year, by accident. The best-selling window of the entire day is a specific 11 minutes. The 11 minutes when every buyer in the park is standing still, looking up. So that's when you work. Empty stores, full shelves, no lines. You haven't watched the fireworks in over a year. You hear them. Hearing them is different. Level 7. The brand. The camera was Emma's. She left it in a closet. And one morning, you point it at a merch drop and narrate what you see. The line math, the buy limits, the resale spread, and you post it without thinking. 40,000 views in 3 days. The comments split perfectly in half. Half calling you a scalper, half asking how to start. Both halves subscribe. 9 months later, there are 212,000 of them, and you finally understand the deepest rule of this entire ecosystem, the one that took you 7 years and $52,000 of debt to see. The product was never the merchandise. The product is the feeling, and the feeling can be resold infinitely at 100% margin because you never run out of stock. So now you sell the feeling. The ad revenue runs $8,000 to $11,000 a month in season. The private community, $12 a month, 1,100 members, clears another $13,000. The personal shopping waitlist is closed. Brands pay $4,500 per integration, luggage, travel insurance, a ticket app. Then the real machine. You get accredited as a travel agency. The company pays roughly 10% commission on every vacation package booked through you. And you have 200,000 people who trust you to tell them how to do this place right. You hire 2 agents who work from their kitchen tables. Year 2, the agency books $2.3 million in vacations. Your best month, all streams in, is $31,000. That's 7 months of your old salary in 1 month for talking about the thing that once made your car decline on a $6.50 churro. The invitation to the private club comes in year 3. Initiation, $40,000. Annual dues, $13,000. You say yes and your accountant files it correctly as a reasonable business expense. And you sit in a velvet chair above the crowds, eating a $22 dessert and feel the full unbroken circle of it. There's a moment at this level you never tell anyone about. A comment under your resort ranking video from a woman with a family photo as her avatar. Just put trip number 3 this year on the card. Worth it. You know her math. You could recite her math in your sleep. The balance, the minimum payment, the interest compounding under the vacation photos. You built a 7-figure business on her math. You tap the heart on her comment. It takes 1 second and it costs you nothing you can point to. And late one night, editing, you finally see it. The warm lighting, the confident numbers, the gentle voice saying, "You deserve this trip. Here's how to afford it." You're Kevin now. You're the vanilla in the lobby. Every video you make is saying 2 words underneath all the other words. Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home. Level 8. The stranger. The wire hits on a Tuesday. $1,380,000. A travel agency group buys the whole operation. The bookings business, the community, the client list, your calendar. You keep the channel, but post twice a month instead of daily. Add the house, the index funds, the pin vault, and you're worth a little over $2.1 million. You're 38. The house cost $438,000 and you paid cash. 4 bedrooms, an oak tree in the yard. It is, almost exactly, the house from the links Emma used to text you. She's married now. You saw it the way everyone sees everything. A photo that scrolled past. A backyard, string lights, a man with kind eyes, no castle anywhere in the frame. You looked for 4 seconds and closed the app, and both of those facts matter. You live in the Emma house alone. You are not being punished. You checked. You haven't walked into the park as a civilian in 6 years. So one Thursday in October, you do something insane. You buy a one-day ticket at the gate, full price, $189 like a stranger. No camera. You leave the second phone in the car. You promise yourself you will not check a single sold listing. Someone else is sitting on Dale's bench. That's fine. Benches don't hold titles. You buy a churro with cash and tip $20, and the kid at the cart looks at you like you're unwell. At 9:45, the lights go down all at once, and 20,000 people go quiet at the same time, and you stand in your old spot and wait for the 11 minutes. What comes is maybe 90 seconds. One thin crack of the old feeling, far away, like a song playing from a phone in another room. And then your brain does exactly what 6 years of training built it to do. It scans the crowd, counts the lanyards in the fresh merchandise bags, and estimates tonight's revenue within about 8%. You can't turn it off. That's the line item nobody shows you at the tour, the one true cost buried under all the interest and dues. This place took the feeling from you and paid you out in the machine that used to sell it to you. 20 feet to your left, there's a man, maybe 26, arms crossed, sunburned. He's checked his phone twice during the countdown. And you know, the way you know margins, the way you know drop schedules, you know he's been keeping a running total all day. And you know it's sitting right around $278. His girlfriend is up on her toes beside him, watching the sky, holding his hand like a kid holds a balloon. The music starts. The castle catches fire with light, and you watch it happen. You watch the exact second the crack opens in a grown man's chest. The 11 minutes where nothing hurts, and his face goes wet, and he laughs at himself, and he does not stop watching. You could walk over. You could itemize it for him. The passes, the jerseys, the spreadsheet, the vanilla lobby, the 10.99%, the ring on the counter. Nobody alive has done that math more precisely than you. Instead, you stand up, and you walk straight down the middle of the street while the sky goes gold behind you. And for the first time in your entire life, you leave during the fireworks. He'll search for annual pass prices from the airport. He'll buy the jersey by Christmas. And a few years from now, in a lobby engineered to smell like vanilla, a man in khakis will shake his hand and smile and say 2 words, "Welcome home."